sliding all the way back to B. Rush isn't going to hear the footstep. He actually finds the bomb. That's a massive kill on Nico. Chris J continuing to fight on the white truck, but it may not matter. Can he get both these kills? He's really trying now. Stanislav fights fire with fire, pulls out his pistol within 2 rounds right now. And mousesports, where's the money at? They will have a full rifle coming in.
Oh, the chant gets louder.
The crowd is getting back into it in a big way.
I mean, we saw this 11-4 half, and we saw a pistol, and then we saw a couple of very close rifle rounds as well as close force-ups on the part of Mouse. Almost like really exploiting mid and doing a good job doing that, and almost turned that into a round. But I think they because they left the bomb in A main, they weren't able to get a plant first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, like who knows where you even go from there.
Whoa! Taps.
Oh,
peeking into a tower of terrorists, so he's got almost no chance on that one. A nade in response does a bit of damage to Dennis.
So 1.6.
Yeah, it was. I do miss just the random 3-man boost when you turn a corner. That was the life. But mousesports have got the man advantage with a ton of time to try to get Conquest to move about, be unsure of themselves.
Again, Conquest forfeiting all of mid. mousesports happy to take it slowly. I mean, not afraid to go out. Though, oh, Stanislav's here in vents, actually.
Going to be a big position. There's the Molotov, though. And he pushes out into middle. He's full blind and is still standing in the fire, so Nico gets it.
Fantastic job of neutralizing him there.
Yeah, nicely done. Without that Molotov, the round could have got dicey for mousesports. Instead, they're staying cool, calm, and collected, working on their B attack. Rush in the site. He's the man to watch right now, and he gets nothing done. Gabi with the entry. Next takes out Shazam from upper. It's Nap in a 1 versus 4, so that's the bomb. Nafly's got a lot of work ahead of him, and if Chris J hits this shot, it will be the team ace for mousesports. Nafly freshly smoked off in upper, goes for the op, and he's just going to save it.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good idea.
Or can he? He's taking quite a bit of damage. He's trying to go for some spam spots.
You know, mousesports don't want him to live, but at the same time, it's going to be a very costly round. If they do lose any men, Naf getting this off, it could be very important. It seems like Conquest will be able to buy next round, but mousesports had a very, very nice round there. That counter boost, just total call out, great positional play. They had that head stack to deal with the push. I mean, that's definitely the best way to trade. You can be standing side to side, but if someone clears their angle carefully enough, they get the first one, and then they can get the second one 2 1-on-1s. In that situation, there's no way to do it. And yeah, now mousesports 1 away from match point, 3rd map of the series. Couldn't get more intense than this.
All right. So 3 rounds separating them. Another rifle coming out here in round 26. 4 AKs and an op. Chris J, of course, with that op, goes out to the lower mid. Will be smoked off. Takes a shot through it, hoping for something. Dennis out in the. Oh, nice. They've hit the boost this time over at A. So Conquest pulling out positions that have done good things for teams at CEVO lands.
Absolutely.
And it's Naf who's gone up there.
This allows you to only have to play 1 at A if you really wanted to. I mean, if people play retake on A all the time, and especially with Molotovs, it makes it very possible, especially if you have a full buy. And now Nico going to look to molly the vents. We got a player in Sunroom. Again, not actually spotting the vent dropout. Doesn't want to peek and I suppose get it up. Dennis has played this position many times. Instead is just waiting. And whoa, Chris finds the first kill on Shazam. That's huge. 5v4. And again, mid control is conceded, relying on site holds.
Yeah, when mid control goes down, the spot Nafly in, I think loses some of its power, but he still has Rush over by Toxic to cover that, and Daps is still in middle, so no one's gone all the way up yet.
Yeah.
And may not even. The bomb now getting into A main, and Gabi doing a great job. A 1-man fake over onto the B site right now. Molotovs everywhere, and he may even yet find a kill.
And that's why Naf's position is so important at this moment.
They get smoked, and they will check it. It's next to check it. He's not going to be denied that frag. Gabi even getting both kills at B. Takes down Stan and Daps. Look at Rush, though. Backstep position, finds one. Dennis is there. mousesports on match point. 15-11.
Fantastic play for them. mousesports just really earning these last couple of rounds, exploiting the weaknesses, using their brain, being very analytical about the way they approach Conquest's defense. And again, it was Conquest that had to work against the tides here to try to put together a victory. taking mid late, I think, is what Conquest are really susceptible to. I mean, they barely play it. They just have Shazam hanging on Z, and because no one ever smokes him off, there's no reason for him to leave. But then if they find the right time to post up on him from boost, he's always very exploitable. And now we actually have just a complete force up from Conquest. Not looking good.
Yeah. And the UMP actually on NAF, we've seen Sanazal using it so many times, but he's going to rely on that very, very powerful Deagle. 2 CZs, 1 on Rush, 1 on Daps. He's Shazam the Opper if he can do some great things with that pistol. NAF getting a Molotov out of that push position and spammed even a little bit through the smoke. So he's down really, really low. This is for all the marbles right now. Who will go into the finals to face Virtus.Pro? Dennis up on boost. There's actually 2 in sandbags. Really expect it. Next helping him out. One's cross to the headshot.
All over mid at the moment. Really fighting for it. And this late mid control is no longer going to work. I mean, this mid setup actually makes a lot of sense. Now Rush is actually pushing it now that they've conceded, and it has a big flank on his hands. As well as 3 players rotating overwards. Hey, the reads are here.
If Shazam starts to slow them down, Rush is in such a strong position. But no, they just turn around and watch it. They bring down Rush, and with it, maybe the hopes of the round. 5 versus 2 right now. Stan gets 1, but it's mousesports. Got B moving in. 2 kills, closing it out. 16-11 on Cash. mousesports. They didn't have the performance they wanted at the last CEVO LAN, but right here, winning all their series, only dropping 1 map, and now into the finals, a best of 5 versus Virtus.Pro.
Next, 34 kills in regulation. Conquest, the only team to take a map off Mouse and make the whole series very close. I mean, they played fantastic. We got to give it up for both teams.
Definitely.
And I mean, it's only fitting that either one of these teams be in the finals.
Next, who had that 160 ADR at the half, ends up dropping down to 137. Dropping down to 137. What a ridiculous stat that is for Nex. He was getting dealt with a little bit when Conquest was making their comeback, and Nex had to go over to the terrorist side, but still coming up huge.
Let's give it up for both these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder who the crowd will go for in the finals, right? The Conquest was the hope of the NA. mousesports is the team that beat them. Does the home advantage go to mousesports? We'll find out pretty soon. And of course, mousesports, just playing the semi, will have to have a little bit of a break going into the finals. I wonder how much. Hopefully they'll have enough to reset. They're the more experienced team, so they should be used to these tournaments, these long days, resetting and going into a big match of best of 5. VP's been resting. They've been able to watch this, so it should be something.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I don't have a prediction for the third map. I'm sure our analysts do, but I think it's going to be a very, very tight series.
And Conquest doing so well at this tournament. They get the 3rd, 4th place spot with Titan, right?
Yeah.
So Titan is a pretty big name.
I mean, they were the main pick for last at the entire event.
Exactly.
I mean, all the teams were just a little bit better in terms of on paper, and I think they've had a fantastic showing.
All right, so that's it from us. We're going to throw it down to the desk, so Scoots, take it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. One thing I do want to point out, obviously, congratulations to mousesports. They
no doubt.
obviously did their job on the end. But there was a technical issue during the first pistol, right? mousesports computer crashes, monitor goes off, Conquest wins that round. There's a long delay. There's a big debate within CEVO. The rules are, for lack of a better word, a little vague. They said I could talk about this. So they're a little vague. They're more written for online play. So there's stuff like if a player disconnects, this happens. Because again, at home, you can unplug your internet, say all these things. So they kind of lean towards you don't get any help if your stuff crashes at home because we don't control it. So as we're kind of trying to address that situation here, that wasn't a player necessarily disconnecting himself. And there's also instances in the past where players have intentionally done things to their PCs on LAN to do a reset, right? CPL that had this crazy rule that they'd restart before 4 rounds, so players would screw with it, right? So while they're debating this, these guys at Conquest decide, you know what? Let's replay it.
Yeah.
And
that was what I was going to say.
They're well within their rights to not say a word and let CEVO make a decision. But again, and I think at the end of the day, you then look at how that second side started, or the second pistol round for them. They lose it, and they get rocked the first half. So again, good sportsmanship. Again, end of the day, they lose. But I think that's
and that was the point I was going to make. That would have been the easiest thing in the world to maybe even try and pressure admins. You're the hometown crowd, right? And everyone's on your side. They didn't do that. They sat back. They let and waited to see what the admins were going to do. And then when they realized that the admins were kind of in a bit of a bind because their rules were a little bit vague, and obviously that's a learning curve for CEVO. And they need to get something a bit clearer put in place. They basically said, you know what, let's replay it, and ultimately that's what cost them.
Yeah, and again, we certainly don't know if, you might win that pistol, but still might get rocked. But again,
true.
Nice sportsmanship call by them.
Obviously, they could have won the pistol as well, and then it would have been a moot point anyway.
Yeah.
But when you get kind of crushed on that side, you're always going to think back, what might have happened if we'd have been in the same situation, we'd won it. Because obviously it was a 2v2 with a bomb down. That's not a terrible situation. It's obviously also not certain you'd have won it if God B had been able to move around. So you can't worry about it too much.
Yeah. But again, I just thought it was a nice sportsmanship call. This team gets a lot of grief. Shazam gets a lot of grief.
You see at the end, no ill feeling about it. Handshakes all around. The crowd are very appreciative. So, that's a big win for Counter-Strike right there. And I think ultimately, as great as it was to see the Conquest comeback towards the end of it, I still think we've probably got the final now we deserve. No disrespect to Conquest. They've been amazing this tournament. But I think mousesports just edged it for me.
Yeah, and we've got our box score up here. And again, like you said, it is coming down to more like the teams we would have thought that now a lot of us would have thought Na'Vi, Virtus.Pro in the finals. But again, mousesports beat them, so here you go.
I mean, just look at the top of the scoreboard. Nex finished the game with 137 ADR and 34 kills. So, obviously an incredible performance by him. He had picked it up on the second map, and in the end, Nico kind of joined him a bit as well. So you had 2 stars rolling there. Overall, Mouse was looking good through most of the game. But you have to say about the Conquest guys, they've won a lot of clutch rounds in this tournament. And the sheer number of times they get into those scenarios where usually that's where experience wins out. That's where being a real team that's had more practice and more routine, that's usually what gets you through those scenarios. But it's just something about this specific tournament run where they just almost couldn't lose some of them. So they were able to get into the game. But when you're climbing uphill from 3 to 12 first half, a team as good as mousesports, they're getting bomb plants obviously, so they're gonna get some rounds eventually. It's gonna be hard to shut them out completely, which you almost would have to do.
Yeah, and I thought overall it's an encouraging performance from mousesports in a way, because while Conquest wouldn't go to bed, mousesports traditionally, we know they've had problems closing out games. We know they've had problems getting over the finish line. We know they sometimes haven't even been strong starters. So mousesports have been looking really good all through this tournament. This was actually a tough test in the end, and it's good that Nex is finally coming alive, because this map here, Cash, could very well come up in the final against Virtus.Pro, because let's not forget it's a best of 5.
Yeah, and again, if I'm the owner of Conquest, I'm very happy how well my team did, but now I'm also very nervous, because like you were talking about, like, will this team stay alive? Will these players get poached by other North American organizations that are looking to reorg? Because again, 4th place,
I think with Team Liquid crapping out, I mean, if I'm the owner of Team Liquid, I'm having a frank conversation with the star player Hiko about what he wants to do. I'm having a frank conversation with James that probably ends with a bit of Vince McMahon, you're fired! He's out the door. So I think there's going to be changes for Team Liquid, and these guys could be beneficiaries of that. Is NAF going to come back? Is it going to be the return of the kid? Who even knows how that's going to go?
Plus, I mean, if you are the owner of Conquest, the team not many of us heard of before now, maybe you upgrade. You go from selling popsicles to lemonade as well. You go, okay, maybe I'll keep the stand open for a week now. Just the odd Saturday on the lawn. See what I'm doing there, Scott. Anyway, we'll see if they can continue as an organisation, because not many people knew them before this. It was kind of just like a last chance saloon for a lot of these players. But when you have a big result like this, a lot bigger than some of the NA results we've seen recently, you can build off that. Yeah, if he leverages that, he keeps his team together, because again, they play really well together. Now again, obviously, we're talking a lot about Conquest, but mousesports wins it. They go to the grand finals against Virtus.Pro, and we got Gob B standing by, and he's with Matt Sadakist. Take it away, buddy.
Nice without the towel.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Here with Gob B, obviously the victor of that semifinal. You'll now play Virtus.Pro, best of 5. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's first look back upon the match. You guys took Inferno from them. That one wasn't quite sure. You guys haven't been playing it as much. Start us off there. Were they a little bit surprising for you guys? I mean, you seemed pretty in control. Economy wasn't too much of an issue, but it was still a tight game, 16-11.
Yeah, it was a tight game. We thought maybe they're gonna pick Cobblestone or Inferno, so we was kind of prepared for that. Yeah, like we spoke before the major, and we said like, okay, guys, let's try to learn Inferno, and I think we're playing fine at the moment. And most of the teams just keep thinking, okay, they're not playing Inferno. Let's pick Inferno because that's not a good map from them. And yeah, and we took advantage of the thinking, and yeah, that's why we won Inferno, I think.
It turned around a little bit though. Overpass, obviously expected to be your guys' map. You guys have had decent success in Europe on it. They beat you guys on. Is there any aspect of sort of being the dark horse? Did you guys get a chance to review some of their play in this tournament before matching up against them? I mean, what went wrong there? Because that started out again with them being pretty in control almost from the get-go.
Yeah, in Overpass we just played bad, I think. We just made horrible decisions. I called bad, I think. And the decisions were bad. We didn't hit our shots. It just felt like maybe some of our players wasn't concentrated, me maybe either. It just felt like another game. And then after this game, we're outside and say like, okay guys, let's start from the bottom and don't let them get cash.
Speaking of cash, started out, you had the Istil in the pistol rounds. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What happened, just so everyone knows? Because obviously they agreed, good on Conquest part, to restart that, good sportsmanship. They did agree to replay that pistol. You guys then won that, but it was a monitor issue or a hardware issue, I think?
I made 2 frags, and the bomb was in front of the CT. We had a good situation, 3-on-2 advantage for us. And then my monitor wasn't working anymore. I just had a black screen. And then they're like, okay, you have to play. They cannot pause in the round, of course. And yeah, and I was running and shooting while I have a black screen. And Next said after the match to me, like, you almost killed him, because I was watching on my teammate's monitor. I'm like, okay, I'm like there, okay, I'm watching. Yeah, big thanks to the guys. And the rules said it's not a replay, so they could have said, okay, we want to play like the rules are. That would be their right. And yeah, big sportmen, and they're really cool guys, and they showed us again.
Yeah, tons of support for them, obviously, in the crowd as well. I'd say they're the surprise of the tournament. They theorized a little bit on the desk this morning about Dignitas maybe getting a little bit on tilt. Obviously, Dignitas has played in front of larger crowds last week in Cluj. They've gone to various tournaments in Europe as well. But in this atmosphere, where it is a lower ceiling, smaller room, did that potentially get to you, this Conquest fan club?
Yeah, it was really hard to play against this crowd, because they were supporting them like they wanted to win, like the team want to win. It was really hard to play against it, and I played in front of a lot of crowds, but this crowd was a bit special, I would say.
Interesting stuff. I actually saw you win one round and actually gave it back to them a little bit. So typical you, always being confident. You will move on, like we say, to play Virtus.Pro in the best of 5 pretty much right away as well. You guys can get some food into you. Expectations going into that? I know you guys are familiar foes. They obviously made it out of groups at the major, but didn't go much further. You guys had the same problem as before. I won't rub it in too much, but what do you expect in this particular matchup?
I hope that we show our A game, so that's going to be a really tough match. The maps are going to be really cool. They're like maps that we like, so it's going to be really cool, and I hope that we're going to win at the end.
Yeah, it could be interesting. It's definitely been a good tournament for you guys as well. I do think that will go the distance. The map pool for both of you guys is fairly strong. We'll find out how that's going to play out after the break. Don't go anywhere. The finals are coming up.
but you don't seem so far away. The only thing between us is empty space, empty space. Even when the music is loud, I'd rather be no other place than here with you now, here with you now. Here with you now. See your face in the crowd, but you don't seem so far away. The only thing between us is empty space, empty space. Even when the music is loud, I'd rather be no other place. Here with you now, here with you now. I'm here with you. I see your face in the crowd, but you don't seem so far away. The only thing between us is empty space, empty space. Even when the music is loud, I'd rather be no other place. Here with you now, here with you now. Here with you now. Will I become what I became again? Will I become what I became when we were only friends? If not, I think I might just write again. 'Cause I remember when you said it's the smartest way if all we stay as friends. Stay as friends. Just a trend. Will I become the nothingness that you would call your friend? If not, I think I'll play this game again. 'Cause I remember when you said it's the smartest way if all we stay as friends. 'Cause I remember when you said we stay as friends. Stay as friends.
Can see it all. Cameras to capture your image at City Hall. Realize they listen whenever you make a call. If you want a revolution, I really give it to y'all.
Is the army that bands against bands of dead presidents, determining life of mankind of cancer. It's how we breathe vapor. We got bleeding in streets like paper. Assemble the masses, melt the plastic, compound the alarm when the shit gets drastic. Lift the fail, and the systems are masters. The pyramid scheme of government ranking.
With the power, we're charged Jurassic. Nation T-Rex with covert tactics.
It's the army that bands against bands of dead presidents, determining life of mankind of cancerous out with breed vapors, green colors bleeding in streets for cheap paper. Assemble the masses, melt the plastic, compound, realign when the shit gets drastic. Lift the veil when the systems are masked. It's just another pyramid scheme of government ranking. Charles Jurassic, Nation T-Rex with covert tactics. Rise from the ashes to the bring the madness.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, here to the CEVO MLG Pro League Finals. We're about to get into the best of 5 grand finals between Virtus.Pro and mousesports. I'm here with Chris, Jay, and Taz. I'm sure everyone knows your faces by this point in time. And Taz, I'll start the questions with you. So Major was pretty recent out there in Cluj. Didn't have the results that people maybe expected, but you've come here to CEVO, to North American soil, and you've dominated just like last time. You're the reigning champions. How are you feeling coming into this match?
Woo! Yeah, man. No, not really.
No? Are you tired?
No, we didn't dominate anyone, so we just played close games against most of the teams, so we don't feel like a dominating team at the moment. Sorry.
Yeah, and we all got to see Conquest play. They looked pretty good. You had to play them your first match here over on the Bravo stream, and you went to double overtime on Inferno. And how'd you feel about that match?
I thought that Conquest is a good team, and it was a hell of a game. Right? You asked about Conquest? Yeah. Cool, man. Cool.
All right, we'll switch it over to Chris J right now. So you just played in the semifinals up against Conquest. That one went all 3 maps, and they were pretty close. You had a big lead there on cash. They came back a little. How are you feeling?
We felt really good up until today, actually. Conquest gave us a really hard game and I guess surprised us. I mean, we saw that they played good against VP, for example, before, and we knew they were good. Of course, they beat Dignitas yesterday. I don't know, but still they managed to get us off our solid ground a bit, and yeah, they made it hard. But we're feeling confident against VP, of course.
All right, and you're obviously known as a pretty flashy opper, one to make the big plays. And I wonder, you're kind of the one opper for mousesports. You're going against a team like VP, where they're bouncing that op around between Pasha, Neo, and even Snacks taking it sometimes. Do you just hit your shots, or does going against 3 different oppers kind of affect you sometimes?
No, I don't think it affects me at all. I usually play good against VP, and I'm planning to do the same today.
All right, and then no rest. Obviously, you played more recently, and you're feeling all right. The whole team is good and energized?
Yeah, we had some food now. Of course, we're a bit mentally tired after the game against Conquest, but we're ready.
All right, and one more over to you, Taz. You got the break. Did you watch that last match? You've done a little bit extra scouting on mousesports, perhaps, coming into this?
Yeah, man, I was writing everything down, so we are ready.
Nice. And any trash talk you guys wanna throw anything down, say anything, or maybe just a nice compliment to Chris J here?
He's saying he's not afraid of our oppers. I will use AWP against him.
All right, and you got a rebuttal for that?
No, man, I'm scared now. I don't know what I'm going to do.
All right, looks like you got into their heads there. We're going to have the grand finals coming up soon, so stay tuned, guys. To create that raid boss. But look, Snacks and Taz getting so aggressive. And there's a third here as well. Taz with 3 headshots.
So it's all up to Scream, the last man standing. He's going to be 1 versus 4 to keep his team alive in this and not drop out in the semis. Scream's going to go peek towards that door. They know exactly where he is. Bial, he's going to come through the window. Virtus.Pro is going to be your first team making it to the grand finals.
One player watching each side right now, but Naf, he finds Dennis. It's Nico with the op. What can he do? Oh, there he is. 1 shot onto Daps, and another onto Naf. What a flick. Have you ever seen him lose a 1v2?
I've never seen him lose a 1v2. I don't know. That was amazing.
He goes down to Daps. It's just got B.
Nice headshot onto Daps. These players are low. And his lot, especially. Yeah, that's a damage from Gabi with the 4K on the round. Great pistol work.
Look at Gabi.
And he is hyped up.
Wow, what a round.
Sports, what will they do? Oh my gosh, Dennis, the 2 for 1.
Owen's bad.
All right, folks, it is grand final time. Defending champion Virtus.Pro, Taz with the most ultimate troll interview. Got the trophy right here, Duncan. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah. Let me try something as well. I just wanted to feel what Cloud9 will ever feel.
Oh, see how you are. See how you are. Let's move that over here. A little closer this way. You never know, they might feel it. So
the joke's on you. You didn't see what Henry G was doing with that trophy just before we came live.
Oh, gosh.
Might want to brush it in.
All right,
let's get into it.
Might as well get edgy, the last one, right?
Why not?
So let's get right into it. Virtus.Pro versus mousesports. You know, we've talked a lot about Virtus.Pro. I'm going to have you talk about them yet again, Duncan. Going to start with their roster. Kind of walk us through these guys. Again, very historic lineup. And I think one of the key points, and you brought up in some notes to me, like, this roster has not changed in a very long time.
No, I think this roster was put together in September 2013, so over 2 years. It's actually the longest standing 5-man roster. It's exceeded NIP at this point in time. So start on the left, Pasha. This is the guy where they brought him in the latter days of 1.6. They actually brought him in I think it was at the very end of 2009. They had him as a stand-in. Then for real, they brought him in early 2010. Initially, he didn't work in the lineup. They had to kind of learn that he wasn't like a team player. He was a guy who had his own set style of play. But they learned how to kind of put him off on one side. The rest of them played as a team. And he became a vital part of the unit, and they won majors together. Then on his right, Bialy, the entry fragger. He's one of those guys who joined in September 2013. He was one of the new blood that they took in. Interestingly, a guy I actually hadn't paid much attention to, didn't know very well, because it was mainly Snacks. That was the one that they always said, oh, if they ever made a change, they'd bring him in. Bialy was the surprise package, but he was a great surprise, actually. He turned out to be a very aggressive player, a great dynamic player to put into a team that needed a bit of firepower. In the middle, Neo, the legend. One of the icons of CS, I think, and even in CSGO, he's found a way to have an impact, to be a part of a major winning team, to be a part of a team with many, many top fours and a historic lineup, but in a different way. He's changed his story. He's not the great player now. He's not the best player on his team, but he's a player who can contribute, who can be a role player, a support player. So quite a contrast from the best player, the ultimate hard carry in 1.6. Go to the guy on his right, the guy we saw in the interview there, very charismatic figure, Taz. Famously has always done the interviews. He used to say he barely spoke English before he started doing interviews, but that was what got him into the rhythm of it. Now, obviously, he has very good English. He's a really funny guy, kind of knows how to work a crowd, as you saw back there.
Yeah, he definitely trolls you.
I mean,
firsthand,
in game as well. I mean, he's someone else who was playing more of a star role at 1.6, not so much in CSGO, but again, he's learned to find a new place, how to facilitate other star players, because he knows what that sort of player needs to have a big game, and you put him on certain maps. Unfortunately, Nuke isn't in the map pool anymore, but he's got these two spots in CSGO and 1.6. Top of the yellow hot on Nuke in the upper site, and lower inside site on Train. Those two spots, always a specialist, very, very uniquely skilled player at these spots, and you've seen at this tournament, he still dominates that position on Train. Last guy, Snacks on the right. He's the guy where in 1.6, sometimes they'd have an argument or they'd have a bad tournament and they'd say, you know what, we're thinking of maybe making a change. And I'd be like, well, who are you going to get? I mean, there's not very many players in the Polish scene that are available right now. They'd be like, we're thinking about this Snacks guy. You know, he's playing in like a couple of the lesser teams. And I would also say, well, I mean, it'll be a gamble if you do that. Like, how will it turn out? Turned out in the end to be one of the best moves they ever did, because he's now been the guy who's carried the franchise the last year or so and been one of the best players in the world. So watch out for him in this game. He's someone where he really has a chance to be the MVP of the whole tournament.
Okay. Anything you want to chime in on, Richard, with these guys?
No, just that it's going to be good for Taz when Nuke gets back into the rotation, because then he gets his second position, right? So something to think about. We've already talked about how Virtus.Pro are great on the customs. I'm sure that'll factor into the veto a little later.
I mean, you know how boring it is when you're only good at one position.
You've been talking to my girlfriend?
Crickets. All right, let's move on
see how it
to...
is, bro.
You're supposed to be the package and not attack each other. I like this.
It's all right,
I'm just going to stand over here, let this fireworks happen.
It gets a bit edgy.
This is awesome.
Gets a bit blue after 10.
Now let's go ahead and, Richard, why don't you walk us through the mousesports roster when it pops up here?
Yeah, no worries. Sure will. So the guy who just went ham in the previous game on Cash, Nex, already talked about him a bit this tournament. He's kind of the new kid on the block, the German guy. Who has really sort of been, the kind of standout star from that the region. He's kind of plateaued a little bit, but he was showing signs of life here at the tournament. Very amazing aimer with both the rifle and the deagle, capable of doing anything. Then you've got Nico, who is the other star player. I mean, arguably he's eclipsing Nex at the moment. He's was someone who was on the mousesports subs bench for a long time, was on there for months. Other teams were making bids for him, offering money. Mousesports said, no, we don't want him to go anywhere. People were scratching their heads and going, why are you just trying to hold on to this talent if you're never going to play him? Well, they waited and waited and waited until Spiddy became surplus requirements, brought him in, and it's paid dividends. Not in terms of results, but in terms of giving a wonderful talent over to the CSGO scene. And he's just electric right now, been the best player for mousesports here. Gobby in the center, obviously legendary in-game leader, somebody that brought this kind of mousesports franchise back to life. People were watching him, going back as far as one of the original Ace of Predator Masters, and he just sort of come into CSGO, and it was a bit of an embarrassing performance from him. He was throwing like Molotovs down. He didn't really seem to know what they did. He hadn't mastered fire for some reason. He was struggling with the cook times on flashbangs. Since then, he's actually added a dimension to his game. But the thing that was really interesting was, tactically, he just took them to another level. And that's what he always used to do in his 1.6 teams. One of the great thinkers in the game, no doubt. Dennis, we talked about him earlier. He is a guy who actually has been in previous lineups. I believe it was the Penta lineup he was part of. And he's somebody who, back then, he was like actually one of the top 2-3 players in that lineup, capable of star play. Well, now, surrounded by this plethora of talent, he's had to kind of learn to just dial it down a notch, be the support player, be somebody that's maybe not always going to get the positions they want, but all he has to do is do a job, buy time, get one frag, and he's doing it very well, very competently at the moment. And then the chap we just saw on the interview, the man in the hat, where's Wally himself? It's Chris J, and he is somebody who is, again, I think, a really underrated AWPer, actually. I think he's added a level of consistency to his game. I think he's hitting incredible flamboyant shots. When he turns up, mousesports can actually roll over a team. And as I've mentioned a few times, what makes him good is even on the eco rounds, he can do damage with a scout, which since the most recent update in the hitbox correction, people haven't been able to necessarily do the same level of damage as he can. That nerf, or whatever you want to call it, update, didn't affect his game. So he's still an amazing player, one of the great snipers in Europe.
All right, thank you very much. And again, the guys have their headsets off. They probably don't want to hear this, but, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with Christian, you know.
Okay.
And no pressure, gentlemen, but I've got myself a mousesports jersey here with my name on it.
Wow.
I do a lot of matchmaking, strat calling, you know. So maybe it's got B that's gonna go. So
I got a souvenir from NIP a little bit earlier today as well. So
you did get a really nice souvenir.
Like sort of some of those like steel balls that you put on a table and they knock against each other. Something like that. You thought they were made out of brass, but actually it was just lead inside.
One more CEO.
That's standard.
Ticked off.
We'll get
literally.
them all. We'll get them all.
All right,
Pokemon.
so we don't have maps yet. The veto's going to start. I think one of the big issues, obviously, we want to talk about is this is a best of 5.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you know, in terms of looking at the veto, you probably don't need to get too complicated, really. Virtus.Pro are going to ban Dust 2, right? That's happening. So then when it comes to mousesports, what will they ban? Well, they did ban, I believe it was Mirage, wasn't it, in the previous round?
No.
Sorry.
That was Conquest who banned that.
Oh, yeah, it was Conquest who banned Mirage against them. So what did mousesports ban in the last round? It was Train, wasn't it?
I believe.
They
I
banned
think
Train.
it was Train.
So yeah, if mousesports elect to ban Train, and that's been something they've been doing recently, they did it at the Major, that was one of their go-to bans in the veto. I think that would be a very smart thing to do, actually, because you want to take Train, which is Virtus.Pro's first pick throughout this tournament, if it's available. So I think those will be the bans. Dust 2 for Virtus.Pro and Train for mousesports. Do you agree with that, Dunk?
I think so, because if I'm mousesports, again, you have to look at the customs and know that VP plays all of them. So of the 3, here's the thing, they have a choice here because, I mean, the overpass game they had against Conquest had a few difficulties in it. The real question for me is mousesports willing to play Cobble? Because if they're not, then maybe they'll change that up, because they have played Train in the past. The thing is, personally, I'm amazed so many teams will play Train against Virtus.Pro, because I think they're very, very difficult to beat on it, because they're so good on both sides. We saw they could have, in theory, a bad CT half and still win the game.
Yeah.
Very few teams can do that on
absolutely.
Train. So it's more about how does mousesports feel on Train. I think the obvious ban would be a Train ban, though. I'd rather do that and get out of the way, because stuff like Cobble, stuff like Overpass, there's a little bit more wiggle room there. It's not as obvious that that VP is going to be as dangerous for you. So that's an obvious one, Dust 2. Now here's the thing, that leaves open cache if they want to play it. So the bans are obvious so far,
but
that means very likely we're going to see cache at this point in time. Well, I mean, it's the 5 maps left.
So Virtus.Pro picking Inferno, that's an interesting first pick out of the maps that's available.
I think this will actually be a cache pick here.
Yeah, so...
Or Mirage. Let me think. I think it should be Cash, actually. It should. Oh.
No, they have gone for Mirage. So this is interesting, actually.
That's very bold, because here's the funny thing. That means that mousesports have picked a map that I'm going to favor Virtus.Pro to be better on.
Definitely.
So they're playing with a bit of fire here. It is a best of 5, so obviously you have to lose 3 in a row. It's not like you can just get wrecked after 1 or 2.
But conceivably, you could be 2-0 down at this point in the series with the way the picks have gone.
Cobble.
And you can see Taz there. I don't know what's going on there with his head.
Okay.
He's sort of...
I wonder if they picked the wrong one, because it doesn't seem like they would pick Inferno. In fact, I would have thought they would pick Mirage there. I would have thought they would
I
go
wonder what the gestures mean
pick.
here. They're sort of laughing about it. And
I think they picked the wrong one by accident. I think he meant to pick Mirage or Cobble.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you can see they're talking about it. So, I
mean, Inferno is right above Mirage on the pick screen, so maybe...
Yeah, what, he's hit the wrong button?
Could be.
Doesn't bode well for the final if you can't...
Thing is, though, it's not implausible.
If your aim's
Remember, since you have to play a minimum of 3 maps, I think you would have seen Inferno within the first 3. That would have been like maybe a second pick for mousesports. The big issue going into this right now is that I think that banning out Train in terms of mousesports means there's not an obvious one that goes away from... It's not like there's an obvious map that VP has to win. Mousesports can compete on all these maps. But now that we don't have Overpass until the end, like, I actually feel like it's going to be hard. The only map I'm favoring mousesports on is Cash, actually.
Yeah.
And I know VP can play it, but I feel like that can be a good map for mousesports, but it's going to be 4th.
That's what I mean. You might not even get to Cash.
So in theory, I mean, by that logic, I guess I have to say I think VP's going to win 3-0. I think they're going to win Inferno. I think they're going to win Mirage. I think Mirage and Cobble I'm quite sure about. Inferno's a little bit more questionable.
Yeah, I was going to say Inferno's not a given for Virtus.Pro, but Mirage and Cobble, in my opinion, are. So Virtus.Pro need to lose their pick for mousesports to even make it.
This is why I said, because it's a best of 5, okay, you're going to get Mirage anyway at some point. So if I was Mouse, I would have made Cash the second map, their first pick. Then I know I've got that right there immediately in the pick. I can kind of throw VP off if they're up a map, and then I have Inferno and Cash to start with. Possible to even go 2-0 if you have a really great start there. At the moment, it feels like even if they get Inferno, Mirage is surely going to be VPs. They're an incredible team on that map.
Yeah,
They're such specialists at it. It's also one of the more comfortable maps I've noticed in terms of AWPing for Neo. Takes a bit of the pressure off him. There's not so many tight angles to cover. I think that this is going to be really tough. I'm kind of favoring VP to 3-0.
One note from the majors. Again, we've talked about a lot. mousesports only lost to G2. And Virtus.Pro only lost to G2 in the majors. That's who sent them out of the quarters. They both played them on Cash, right? It is the one map. I'm sorry, Inferno. G2 lost to mousesports 16-12 on Inferno. And then, obviously, Virtus.Pro played Train and Cash. So the one map that they took off G2 was Inferno.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because when VP played G2 on Cash, they lost on Cash. So that's what I mean. Cash is a chance for Mouse. The problem for them is it's the 4th map. So they've got to win another map to get a chance at Cash. Now, listen, if they could get to Cash somehow, say they have an incredible game on Inferno,
tie the series up, right?
Now they can go into a 5th game, potentially. So you can kind of see the flow of where the series should go there. So it's not as though on the VP maps you can just tune out. No. If they can win the first map, then they got a chance to get the Cash, and they can get it a tied series, I think.
Yeah, if they can, I still think mousesports need to take Inferno. I think if they don't do that, I think we're looking at perhaps a very one-sided final indeed.
And let's take a look at our key player matchup. This time it's going to be Nico and Snacks.
Yeah, and we talked earlier in the tournament. We were trying to make these head-to-heads a little bit interesting, more about the narrative, what's going on within the team, little things to watch for rather than just picking the star players. But in the final, you've got to pick these guys. There's just no two ways about it.
Especially because it's a best of 5, so you're going to see a lot of maps, not just 1 or 2.
And Nico right now has been the guy who's just been ridiculously on point for the last sort of 2 series. He's had some very stunning performances. You can see his average damage per round's over 100. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was like 134 on Cash just coming into this. He can use any weapon, particularly good with the Deagle, particularly good with rifles. Just an excellent all-round player. And then, of course, you've got Snacks, somebody who, as I said, I think he's one of the great thinkers in the game. Somebody that can use terrain, use smoke, smarter, more intelligently than anyone else. Very good in clutches. But right now, he's at a level of consistent fragging that it's been happening since Dubai, really. So just 2 phenomenal talents, and hopefully we get to see them kind of actually square off. That explosion of Nico coming onto a site against Snacks, who's going to be locking things down. It's a very tantalizing matchup.
As much as we've seen Nico have breakouts, he's had great performances here. At the Major, he had a very good performance over the 2 maps they played there, at least in the first part. you have to look at Nico's performance and say, okay, the difference between him and Snacks is, I've seen Snacks do this in finals, I've seen him do it in majors, I've seen him do it in best of fives, I've seen him consistently perform. Nico's having breakout performances. He's starting to establish that resume, but in a best of five, he's never dominated a best of five. He's never been the best player in a best of five. So this is a chance for him to really arrive on the world stage and say, right, you know what, some of the other teams maybe had bad tournaments or up and down. If we can beat, or I can just play well in a performance against VP in a best of five, I can really be one of the best players in the world. So I think it's very interesting on the mousesports side, as well as
highlight
the
reel.
obvious star for VP.
All right, let's do final thoughts and predictions. Start with you, Richard.
3-0 if mousesports don't take Inferno. If mousesports do take Inferno, 3-2 VP.
All the way to the end if they do take the first. Okay.
I think 3-0 for Virtus.Pro. I mean, I think they're primed to do it. I think mousesports really have to have all three of their fraggers. They've got to have Nex, they've got to have Nico, they've got to push it all going if they want to win this first map and get a chance at that fourth. So I'm going to say 3-0 Virtus.Pro.